You're all set. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much. Good evening and welcome to the February 27th, 2023 meeting of the Town of Barnstable Planning Board. The Planning Board's public hearing will be held tonight at 7 p.m. via remote participation methods. Alternative access to this meeting shall be provided in the following manner. The meeting will be televised via Channel 18 and may be viewed via the Channel 18 website at streaming85.townofbarnstable.us/cablecast public site. Real-time access to the Planning Board meeting is available utilizing the Zoom link or telephone number and meeting ID provided below. Public comment can be addressed to the Planning Board by utilizing the link or telephone number. And the link is townofbarnstable.us.zoom.us/J/822-596-89484. The phone number 888-475-4499 and the meeting ID 822-5968-9484. Applicants, their representatives, and individuals required or entitled to appear before the Planning Board may appear remotely and may participate through the link or telephone number provided above. Documentary exhibits and/or visual presentations should be submitted in advance of the meeting so that they may be displayed for remote public access viewing. Application materials may be accessed by contacting Karen Herron at karen.herron@town.barnstable.ma.us or calling 508-862-4064. And we will now call the meeting to order and introduce our board members who are here tonight. Again, my name is Steve Robichaud, and
Mary Barry.
And Tim.
Good evening, Tim O'Neill.
And Michael.
Good evening, Michael Messinas.
And town staff on tonight, we have Jim.
Good evening, Jim Comfort, Senior Planner, Planning and Development.
Thank you, Jim. And I see Karen on as well.
Hi, Karen Herron, Administrative Assistant, Planning and Development.
Thank you, Karen. Notice of recording, this meeting is being recorded and broadcast on Channel 18 in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20. And I'll now inquire whether anyone else is taping this meeting. If you are, please make your presence known. Seeing none, we will now go to the general public comment phase of the meeting. This is for public comment not related to any agenda items this evening. Sarah, are you aware of any general public comment this evening?
I am not aware of any. I think the only person on here that I'm not familiar with might be Eric. But
Eric, do you have any general or public comment?
No, thank you. I'm here for agenda items. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Eric. And if there's anybody else on for public comment, please speak at this time. Okay, seeing none, we will move to the first item this evening, which is a subdivision. And Tim, if you could read this item.
Sure, thank you. This is a subdivision. William Egan has submitted an application for a definitive subdivision at Old Stage Road and Parker Lane in West Barnstable. Subdivision number 827. The plan for the subdivision is entitled Definitive Subdivision Plan of Land on Old Stage Road and Parker Lane in Barnstable, MA, prepared for William Egan, prepared by Gallagher Engineering, dated October 26, 2022. The subject properties are shown on Assessor's Map 152 parcel 005 and map 152 parcel 009. This has been continued from February 13th, 2023, and the meeting is open.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim. And as Tim said, the public hearing is open. We're going to start with a presentation by the applicant, then go to the board for questions of the applicant, and we'll look for public comment after that, and we'll go from there. So first off, we will start with the applicant.
Good evening, Bill Egan. This presentation is going to be made by Frank Gallagher, who's on the meeting with us right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Bill.
Yes.
Frank, go ahead.
Good evening. Yes, Frank Gallagher. I'm the design engineer, Gallagher Engineering in Foxborough. Bill Egan is the owner and the applicant. And
Oh, Frank, I think
Sorry,
you're
Frank, I
unmuted.
accidentally muted you. Frank, could you unmute, please? I accidentally muted you. Sorry about that.
Okay. I don't know how much of that got muted out, but
Start
All
over,
of it.
Frank
Frank.
Gallagher, all of it? Yeah. So, okay, I'll start over again. I'm Frank Gallagher, Gallagher Engineering in Foxborough. I'm the design engineer. Bill Egan is on. He's the owner and the applicant, and Ted Schilling is his attorney, who's also here at the meeting. So this is a two-lot subdivision. It's located off of Parker Lane, which is an ancient way that's been, in existence in the town for quite some time. It's what's called a two-rod road. So it's a rod is 16 and a half feet. So a two-rod road is 33 feet wide. That's the layout that we have. And there is, a roadway there. It's not adequate as it stands. So we're proposing improvements to Parker Lane that would that the board would see as creating adequate access for these two lots. So the improvements start on Service Road, and they go from there about 800 feet down Parker Lane and create adequate access for the frontage for both what we have shown as lots 2A and 3A on the plan that we put in front of the board. It's 18-foot wide gravel roadway is what we're proposing. And along with that, we have a drainage system, which consists of a swale that runs down one side of the road. So the road, rather than being crowned in the middle, this road is pitched from, I guess if you're walking down the road, it would be pitched from your right to your left. And there's a swale that runs along the left side of the road. And when I say left, what I mean is beginning on Service Road and walking down Parker Lane, that the swale would be on your left side. We have some drainage mitigations that go with that road. An infiltration basin with some of the stormwater flows into that basin and then dissipates into the ground. And then we also have a couple of catch basins within that drainage swale that then catch stormwater and feed it into underground leaching pits. So that's the system that we're proposing for the roadway. We've had meetings with the town engineer, Griffin Bowden, a couple of correspondence back and forth with him. At this point, I can say we've satisfied all of his concerns with our most recent revision to you, which actually is dated February 25th. So it was just a couple days ago. We met with Griffin on the 15th of February. We went and did some additional soil testing out there at his request, made some revisions to the drainage system, again at his request, and resubmitted to him. He came back actually on the 24th with a memorandum that just requested a couple of additional items, which we turned around, and that's why you have a plan dated with a revision date of February 25th. So it's two lots. We're in the Aquifer Protection District. I might be using the wrong terminology for that. It's the Resource Protection Overlay District. And so because of that, we essentially double the size of the lots. So we have lots that are a minimum size of 2 acres. There's no town water, so they'd have to be served by wells. There's no town sewer, so they'd have to be served by on-site septic systems. all of which is, attainable and doable. The real issue here is, the roadway and what improvements we've made to satisfy the board, hopefully, that it's adequate access, and to satisfy the town engineer that that everything that goes along with that road is up to his standard as well. We do have a list of waivers. It's listed on the plan, and it's also formalized in a letter that we submitted along with the revised plans. So I don't know. I guess I hope everyone's familiar with the location. It's really between the service road and Old Stage Road. Parker Lane connects those two roadways, and the property fronts mostly on Parker Lane, and it's I guess really Parker Lane runs more or less north and south, and the property is on the west side of Parker Lane. We did do an A&R plan previously that created one lot fronting on Old Stage. And this one, again, is just creating two lots, and that's it. I think, we've submitted plans, and I'd be happy to take whatever questions any of the board members might have.
Sure, I appreciate that, Frank.
Mhm.
We've had a lot of time to review this one, and I know you put a lot of work into it. Glad to hear that DPW is pleased with all the efforts. Right now, as it stands, that section of Parker Lane is just wooded at this point. Is that correct?
There's a cart path there.
Is there really?
There is.
Okay.
There is an existing car path that you can drive a single vehicle down the existing car path that's there.
Understood. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I have no questions. Everything looks to be straightforward and in place. I'll go to the board. Mary?
I thought it was well done as well. And, maintaining the presence of these old country roads is nice to see. I guess my question is, who's going to maintain it? And you may have had that in some of the documentation. Is that going to be maintained by the subdivision?
It will be. The two homeowners will have an agreement, and it'll be up to them to maintain the roadway.
Okay. All right. That means cleaning out the catch basins and all of that, right? So
Yes.
it won't be
Yes.
the responsibility of the town.
It will not be. In fact, part of one of the things that the town engineer requested along with our stormwater report was an operation and maintenance plan.
Good.
Which we submitted, and that specifies what maintenance needs to be done, how frequently each task needs to be done, and it does say specifically that these tasks will fall on the homeowners,
Great.
not the town.
Okay. I'm good. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, that's a good question. Tim?
Thank you. I don't have any questions on this. A lot of the details have been ironed out, I think, since this came in front of us as a preliminary plan. I think it was this fall, like early fall, I think it was in front of us.
Right.
But I was glad to see all the engineering comments and then the responses by the applicant, and then the most recent plan that ironed out a lot of those details. And I think all the waivers are in line to keep it as a old country road. So I don't have anything on this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Tim. And Michael?
So first of all, I just want to say thank you for all the hard work. I do not have anything else to add into this. I was glad that Barry was able to ask those questions because that was also my concern. So overall, I'm very content with what we have so far. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. And at this time, we will look to public comment. And Sarah, do you have any members of the public looking to comment on this item?
I'm not sure if there's anybody that wants to speak to this item. Now's your chance to speak up. I'm not seeing anybody.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. So with that, we can close the public hearing. If I could have a motion to close the public hearing.
Go ahead, Mike. This is Mary. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Perfect.
I'll second.
Mary. And a second from Tim. All those in favor, Mary?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. Public hearing is closed. And with that, any further, any comments from staff? Jim, you all set?
I'm all set and happy to assist if you need assistance on making the final motion there.
Appreciate that. Yeah, just to run down one more time. We need to read in the findings, which include the waivers. We don't need to read the conditions. We can simply reference them. And we do obviously want to make sure that we include those new dates. The plan of land last revised on the 25th and the staff report last prepared today, the 27th. Tim, with that, the promotion.
So just one thing, we have to read in the findings. We also need to read in the waivers, or do we just reference the waivers as in the staff report?
You have to read the waivers as well. And if you read the findings, they're actually right in the bottom of the waivers are right in the bottom of the findings on the staff report.
So we just have to read the findings, but reference the waivers.
Right.
Correct?
No, I think we have to read the waivers.
So, Mr. Chairman, so the section in the staff report dated today under draft decision for consideration, there's suggested findings. So 1 through 4D, if you wouldn't mind reading in, if you agree, and then just simply referencing beyond that, all waivers requested per the application and as the conditions drafted in the staff report.
Sweet. Okay.
So I can read this on the agenda with the findings from that staff report and then reference the waivers also listed in that staff report at the same date.
Waivers and conditions, correct.
Waivers and conditions. Okay, great. So with that, I would like to make a motion to approve with conditions the definitive subdivision plan of land on Old Stage Road and Parker Lane in Barnstable, MA, last revised February 25th, 2023 by Gallagher Engineering with the following findings. The application has been submitted for approval of definitive subdivision plan Form C by William Egan, trustee, Old Stage Road Realty Trust on December 12th, 2022. Number 2, the definitive subdivision plan is shown on definitive subdivision plan of land on Old Stage Road and Parker Lane Road in Barnstable, MA, last revised February 25th, 2023 by Gallagher Engineering. Third finding, the applicant has submitted a preliminary subdivision plan to the planning board. The fourth finding, that the applicant has requested certain waivers in order to maintain the rural character of the area in accordance with section 801-5.b, subsection 1 of the code of the town of Barnstable, waivers from construction standards to maintain rural character. The planning board has made the following findings. A, granting of the waivers requested are in the best interests of the citizens of the town. B, the plan is well designed in keeping with the general design principles set forth in Article 6, VI of subdivision rules and regulations. C, there is adequate access to the lots for the uses intended thereon. D, the plan is in keeping with the character of the surrounding area. And the conditions and grant of the waivers are as written in the staff report dated February 27th, 2023.
Yeah, perfect. And look for a second on that.
This is Mary. I'll second that.
Thank you, Mary. And all those in favor, Mary,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
and myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. And the matter passes. Thank you, Mr. Gallagher, Mr. Egan.
Okay. Yep. Thank you all very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Best of
Good
luck
night.
with the project.
Thank you.
And great job, Tim. All right, Charlie, you're up. The next one, we're going to have a discussion and a vote concerning recommendation to Town Council of the abandonment of Mothers Park Road in Centerville. And this will be a majority vote of those present tonight. Charlie, there you are. Take it away.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And good evening, Charlie McLaughlin, Senior Counsel for the town. This has been an interesting undertaking, to say the least, for a relatively small project. There's a lot of moving parts to it. And I thought I'd just give you a very brief history of what we're doing and why we're doing it, and then move on to explain what the statutes require with respect to your participation in this decision making. Mothers Park Road, as you know, borders Mothers Park along with North Main Street and Finney's Lane. And Jim, I should ask if you're controlling the screen, could you put that plan up for us, please?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Yep, thank you. Importantly, a portion of Mothers Park Road is an ideal spot to locate a subsurface sewerage pump station for the comprehensive wastewater management plan that has received so much attention and so much of our public purse in the last year, and will continue to do so for many, many years to come. I'll just draw your attention to the plan for a moment. It indicates, obviously, at the top of the plan. I don't know whether you can see the northerly arrow showing orientation. Yeah, there it is. So Finney's is basically in the north side. North Main Street is on the southerly side of this, and Mothers Park Road is on the easterly side. We are proposing to abandon Mothers Park Road. We've already been to the county for probably the best part of a century, just about to the day. Mothers Park Road had been a county road. The county stopped maintaining roads several decades ago, and the town has been doing so dutifully since then, even though we didn't have technical legal control. So we brought this to the county commissioners. They voted to abandon it, and by operation of the statutes, when the town requests, as we did, that we be assigned the control of the road, and we are willing to undertake its maintenance and improvements and so forth, then by operation of law on the county vote to discontinue title to the Mothers Park Road in this instance reverts to the town of Barnstable. From there, our next, what you can see here is that we have at the intersection of Finney's Lane. Let me back up for one moment. As I'm sure you know, although I don't drive this stretch regularly, those who do use Mothers Park Road as an easy and safe access over to Finney's. With Mothers Park Road being closed down, if that is the outcome of this recommendation in a council vote on March 16th, you'd be left with North Main Street, which has been and will continue to be for a while at least, a very, very difficult road and dangerous road. As you can see from the angle, someone coming from the south heading towards Finney's. If they're going to enter Finney's and continue south, basically, they've got to crane their neck around 120 or 30 odd degrees. If they go to turn onto Finney's Lane heading in a northerly direction or a easterly and then northeasterly direction, they've got to spin a good 120 degrees or more around that intersection, which almost invariably, even for a four-wheeled car, will put them into the oncoming lane unless they take a really wide swing into the oncoming lane and North Main Street and make the turn. For any vehicle towing, even a landscaper truck with a relatively small trailer, making that turn is very difficult and will put, without a doubt, vehicles into that northerly side of Finney's Lane, and it's just something we don't want. It's long been recognized as a difficult and dangerous turn, and frankly, if nothing were to be done to that intersection, you would have this continuing risk to public safety, particularly when Mothers Park as an alternate is potentially eliminated. So what DPW listening as they have in many listening sessions for a lot of this CWMP work and for the Vineyard Wind work in the vicinity, they've had a lot of indication from the public that the public would like to see that intersection at North Main and Finney's made safer. And to do so, what the DPW proposes to do is to lop off the very end, about 3,000 square feet and change at that intersection, and turn North Main Street to the right so that you have a 90-degree intersection with Finney's Lane. That way, it'll be obviously a full stop, and drivers can come to a full stop there, look both ways, and safely enter in onto either direction of Finney's Lane, and vehicles coming down, particularly in a southerly or somewhat southerly southwesterly direction on Finney's, can make that left-hand turn in a much safer fashion. That's, I think, a general background of what's going on. Near the intersection of Finney's Lane is what's been determined to be an ideal location for a gravity flow sewer collection point and a pump system to pump a significant volume of anticipated sewerage from there to Hyannis. You'll recall some controversy a couple of years ago about 310 Main Street, which was a single-family home that the town was able to acquire on the open market. And there was a lot of resistance to the town considering using that. And with discussions with the Centerville folks and the Civic Association and privately, it became clear that what had been some resistance a decade and a half ago to using Mothers Park for any kind of sewer pumping station or something in the vicinity has changed, and the public now supports it, particularly if at least seems to support it, and particularly if we can make that intersection safer at Finney's and North Main. So up on the northeast corner of Mothers Park Road, just before it enters Finney's, wholly within what would be the sidelines of the existing Mothers Park Road, once it's abandoned, the town will locate a high-capacity sump and sewer pump facility, wholly underground, and really all you're going to see is a manhole cover at the end of the day. They also propose, as part of that area, to create two and improve to a two-vehicle parking area with a hard surface so that folks who have physical challenges will be able to, and for that matter, the public generally will be able to park cars there and if they choose to get out and enjoy the park. But certainly one, if not both of those, will be reserved for handicapped accessibility. There'll be some other changes, including along North Main Street, putting a sidewalk in, again, creating better and safe access to the park. The last piece of this puzzle deals with amendment, so-called Article 97, amendment to the state constitution. And you probably have heard Article 97 discussed in a lot of the public input about parts of the projects that we're doing for CWMP and Vineyard Wind. And Article 97 basically says that if you have a public park dedicated to public access and neighborhood beautification and the like, and you're spending town monies on it, it must be accessible at all times to the public. No surprise there. And the Commonwealth had adopted for a number of years now, actually at least a couple of decades, a so-called no net loss policy, meaning that if any part of the public lands, the public parkland, were to be converted or somehow alienated to some other use, that you would have the no net loss would require the party here, the town making the change, to go out and find replacement land of comparable quality and at least comparable value. What the town plans to do here, because there's no way to correct that intersection without impinging on the toe, if you will, of Mother's Park at Finney's. What the town proposes to do is take all of the remainder of Mother's Park Road, or what would be at that point the former Mother's Park Road, and attaching that to Mother's Park, obviously with the exception of the area, the small area at the other end of Mother's Park Road devoted to the sewer pump station and the parking that I've been talking about. The necessary step to get there at this point is for the town council and the planning board to consult. And the purpose of the consultation mandated by statute is that the council have the benefit of your advice and on the subject. And while it is advisory, I am sure that very significant weight will be given to your advice on the matter. It does, for a 4-member board tonight, it would take a unanimous vote of the 4 of you in order for this to pass. The recommendation, thumbs up or thumbs down, would go back to the council. The council is not bound by the recommendation, but would, as I said, I'm sure take into very serious consideration your advice and hopefully consent on the matter. And then the council would vote, presumably on the 16th, thumbs up or thumbs down on the abandonment. And if it's an affirmative vote to abandon, the property at that point would no longer be a public way or a way to which the public has a right of access, and that road would be legally shut down and very shortly afterwards would be physically shut down. The very next vote planned for the council then, when the town abandons it, by law, abutters who of private property abutting Mother's Park Road, whose descriptions are such that they own to the center line of Mother's Park Road, title would, on recording at the registry, would instantly pass to those 4 property owners, and they would, for a nanosecond, own that property. In order to do the final element of what we're attempting to do here, i.e., improve Mother's Park, actually make it bigger. I'll talk about square footage in a minute, and make improvements. Dave Anthony, on behalf of the town, has been in regular contact with all 4 property owners, and we understand that they are generally in favor and know fully well what's coming. We hope to complete those discussions with an agreement for damages on the property has been appraised. The value of their property that will revert to them has been appraised, and David is in what I hope is the final stages of resolving that for an agreement for damages on that. As I say, if we get an affirmative vote from the council, we would then wait the required 30 days, go to record. The vote actually would be effective on the 31st day. And as our charter is written, and we would go to record at the registry on the 31st day or the next business day and record the order of taking, at which point the town would then own everything that had been known as Mother's Park Road. We would then complete the necessary paperwork eventually to connect the remainder of the road to Mother's Park. The footage is involved when we cut off the tip over at Finney's and North Main. That is in the range of about 3,300 feet. I'm unfortunately at home this evening. I hadn't planned to be, but in that range, very, very closely so, but it is not exactly 3,300. Conversely, the area that will be added back into the park would be approaching 9,000 odd feet. So the area at the end of the day is going to more than double, as we understand the figures, and would be added back into the park and then fully re-landscaped and the like. There are 2 remaining things that need to happen before that actually is physically accomplished, joining the park and the Old Mother's Park Road component. And back to Article 97, we have to convince the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs, Energy and Environmental Affairs, that this is an appropriate method to replace the land that has been lost by reason of the proposed construction, and to convince them with appraisals and obviously a straight utility assessment of the value of this parkland, that adding it back into the park is about as good as you can get in terms of replacing something of equal or better value as Article 97 requires. If the EEA then provides a recommendation to the to the legislature, and the legislature has to vote to approve this transfer, and we trust that will happen. But that's a very closely watched process, and making sure that the language is correct, making sure that EEA and the legislature are happy with the equivalency and the improvements that we're proposing. And if they agree, the legislature then approves special legislation known as Article 97 legislation. We go to record, record that, and complete the reconfiguration of the park. In short, this project is primarily generated by the fact that we would like to see, we need to put in the area a subsurface facility, i.e. the pumping station. It's not ideal at that point to have a lot of traffic going over that. And the thought then is, let's abandon the road and use the incursion into Mother's Park that we would all like to do in the interest of safety, to add to the size of the park. it makes for a much, much safer intersection. Surprisingly, the accident statistics there from the police department are few and far between. I think locally, a lot of people know that it's a bad intersection and they do exercise caution, but all you need is one exception to the good fortune we've had, and you could have a very tragic accident at that intersection. And I think that is the overall recitation as far as what we're trying to accomplish here, and hopefully with your blessing, making a recommendation to the council. We do have a second related matter, as long as I have the floor, and that just for a moment, and that is we're looking for a plan endorsement. This area has not been well defined by recorded plans. We're looking, our engineering and survey group have recommended that we draw a plan seeking your approval just to display this, so we have something of record that we can show to the legislature, et cetera. And we, when we go with a recorded plan, then to show what the amendments will be to accomplish what we're attempting to, we'll have a valid recorded plan at the registry. So that is, I think, a bit of a pro forma, but an important pro forma to put in front of you so that we can all operate off of a plan that graphically and accurately displays what this end product will look like, along with the construction plans that will be forthcoming soon enough. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. The only question I have is, it does appear that there's a gravel driveway off of Mother's Park Road. Will that just now have access directly to Benny's?
The understanding that is still an ongoing discussion with Dave Anthony. The intent, as I understand it, is that even though there are no legal rights attendant to that roadway, the town's willing to leave the gravel driveway in place and show on the plan of the taking that we will take the road subject to actually creating rights in that property owner to continue to use that driveway that they have, in fairness, used for a very, very long time. They haven't gained legal rights in it because this being municipally owned property, first the county and now us, you can't gain adverse title to an easement or otherwise by adverse possession against the municipality. And as far as we can tell, the conversion, the creation of Mother's Park Road predated the creation of the driveway. So, but I think this is what the property owners asked for, and this is what I understand we're moving towards, and that will be presumably signed off on before the 16th of March, when we are back in front of the council. The taking document and the taking plan would then make our taking subject to rights created for the benefit of that property owner.
Great. Certainly appreciate it and good to hear. It's a beautiful park and a lot of updates in the recent years, including a beautiful, stone wall with some benches. It's great to hear that there'll be a net increase in the green real estate in the park. So, it sounds like a necessary move. Questions from the board, Mary?
Thanks, Charlie. That was a very good. I had missed, I think, the meeting where this was discussed before, but that was a nice summary. I appreciate that. I had the same question as Steve on that driveway, but it sounds like that's still in negotiation and plans to be figured out. Somehow access to Finney's Lane. But on the North Main Street, I'm just trying to picture this because this is existing conditions, I'm assuming, right, that we're looking at?
Correct.
So are you saying that it will come to a T right at where the words Finney's Lane is?
It will be further. It was much closer. Yes, right where your arrow.
Okay. All right. So it's just a slight turn that would be. Yeah. So you're really cutting off a very small portion.
We
Okay.
are. And then along North Main Street, there will be a shaved area with a retaining wall put in to create the sidewalk. And then the sidewalk will follow the roadway layout and again enter at Finney's Lane at a 90-degree angle.
And it was, the village didn't want to use the 310 house on Main Street there?
That's correct. There was a lot of objection to its use. I don't think there was a clear understanding that it would obviously
They'll
be
never see
totally
it.
subterranean, but
Yeah.
we get out with our lives and we're here to argue for
Okay.
Plan B. So
Yeah, got it. Enough said. No, I'm fine. That the plan sounds fine. It will be nice to actually see it, physically see the what the plan will look like. So I would like to see that, but obviously it needs to be done in advance of the council meeting. So
absolutely.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And Tim, comments, questions?
I don't have any questions. I think Charlie did a great summary report here on what is going on. And I think it's all great stuff for the town to increase the size of that park and improve and safen that intersection and also promote our much needed sewer project and development in this town. So I think it's a great thing to recommend over to town council as is. That's all.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. And Michael, any questions, anything to add?
No, I agree. I do not have anything to add. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Thank you. Any additional comments from staff? Looks like we are all set to go. Charlie, any final words
Just
before
I appreciate very much your support and your interest in this. A lot of moving parts, as I said at the beginning. I would appreciate it if you would consider in making your main motion that the board offer its support and we do have a draft letter for your consideration, and that the chair be authorized to sign on behalf of the board if that is your wish.
Great. I appreciate that. Do we need to make a motion to that effect?
Yes, I think it would be helpful to make that motion. Yeah.
Okay. Just that the chair is able to speak for the board, and what else?
A move to recommend to the full council that the petition to abandon be enacted favorably, and that the chair be authorized to sign a letter to the town council reflecting this vote.
Got it. Okay. And I am going to make two separate motions here, one with the recommendation and one with the endorsement of the plan.
Perfect.
And I will take that on. So
Even better.
I move to recommend to town council the abandonment of Mothers Park Road as identified on roadway discontinuance plan, Mothers Park Road, Village of Centerville, Barnstable, Mass, by town of Barnstable, dated February 22nd, 2023. Do I have a second?
This is Tim. I'll second.
Thank you, Tim. All those in favor? Mary?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. I move to recommend endorsement of the plan entitled Roadway Discontinuance Plan, Mothers Park Road, Village of Centerville, Barnstable, Mass, by town of Barnstable, dated February 22nd, 2023. Second?
I'll second. Michael Messinas.
Thank you, Michael. All those in favor? Mary?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. And I'll do one more. I move to allow myself, the chair, Steve Robichaud, to draft a letter to town council regarding this item. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary. And all those in favor? Mary?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye.
Thank you, folks. Have a good evening, and we'll talk
Thank
to
you,
you.
Charlie.
Take care.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks, Mary. Bye-bye. Tim, take care. Mike, thank you.
Good evening. And Jim, we're going to go to you for an LCP update.
All right. So the LCP is moving right along. The LCPC are holding two meetings coming up here in the next 2 days. It's called the Bring It Together workshop on Tuesday at noon to 1:15 via Zoom. Still time to register if you wish to join the party tomorrow at noon for a visioning workshop with the LCPC. And then following that, there will be a second meeting in person on Wednesday from 5 to 7 at the Barnstable Adult Community Center. And it will be the same meeting as Zoom, but there will be some additional activities for in-person, some in-person fun. We will have pizza, and we are tempting parents with free childcare as well. And I'll have the movie Storks readily available. So if your kid likes Storks and free pizza, come on down. It should be a good time. And that's my update. I'm gonna brag to Kate that mine was much more exciting.
Well, I think you can say you were able to bring more to the table for enticements. That's more clearly.
Although we all know it's probably Kate's idea.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
He's just taking a victory lap. Yeah.
Yeah, he totally is. He totally is.
That was great, Jim. I appreciate that. Correspondence. So talking about Chapter 91, last meeting we discussed 24 Flume Ave. We learned that there's an option for Chapter 91 notices for referral to planning board for a public hearing. We were going to have a public hearing on this item this evening. However, the item actually has been withdrawn. So we are now going to seek a motion to accept the withdrawal. I'll make that motion. I move to accept the withdrawal as requested for Chapter 91 Notice 24 Flume Ave, Parsons Mills. In a second.
This is Mary. I'll second. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Michael.
And thank you, Michael. And all those in favor, Mary?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. And we had two other Chapter 91 notices, one for 332 Wheeler Road up here, another one for 180 Ocean Street, Bismore Park Marina, maintenance dredging. Okay, and next we'll look for a motion on the February 13th, 2023 draft minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 13th, 2023.
Thank you, Tim. In a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Michael. All those in favor, Mary?
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't there for the meeting, so it feels awkward to approve them since I wasn't there.
Understood. Jim, just because that leaves us with only 3 members, is it just the majority of members present for minutes?
So to be cautious, I would, or actually Karen probably has it.
I would table them.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, that sounds good. We will go ahead and move. Why don't we have a motion to move?
Motion to continue them to next meeting.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, Tim, thank you. So moved. And a second?
This is Mary. I'll second that.
Great. Thank you, Mary. All those in favor? Mary?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. So we will consider those minutes along with tonight's minutes at our next meeting.
Great.
And future meetings, March 13th, just a reminder, we're going to do the vote on the dockside on the 13th, and that will be a Zoom meeting. And then March 27th will be an in-person meeting. And from that point forward, we will be full-time in person. I will also note that I will not be present on the 27th. I will be on a cruise. And Bob,
Can we wait then until you're back for our first in-person?
No way. You got
First in
Bob. No, you got Bob. He's going to be great. And it's
Judge
just so
Bob.
I'm going to be in a boat.
Judge Bob's going to be running the meeting.
Good for you.
That's it. That's it.
Are they going to entice us with pizza and movies as well?
I know, right? And childcare.
I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I said first in person, March 27th. I went and looked at the calendar and I said, oh, I'm not going to be there.
I'm not here.
All right. Okay. Okay, any final comments before we adjourn? Good to go. Okay, motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. This is Mary.
Thank you, Mary. And a second?
I'll second.
Tim, I'll second. Oh, I think Mike got me on that one.
There you
All
go.
right, thanks, Michael. And all those in favor? Mary?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. The meeting is adjourned.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
All right, see you, everyone.